J. Cole dropped his newest album, For Your Eyes Only, today, Friday morning. It actually came out 9 o'clock West Coast time.
Nice.
Midnight East Coast time yesterday. And, of course, off to a very strong start, streamed on Spotify and Apple Music. And that's actually, interestingly enough, and I'm going to get to a whole point about his lyrics about the NBA and the crossover between rap and NBA, which has always been prominent. But the point to make before that is, what's really interesting is, and this is good for digital media too, success of music in some standards has now become how many streams are happening, how many listens. Like the Weeknd's album, like 300 million listens in, I don't know, a week, and like top the charts. Taylor Swift and Zayn Malik's song, like right to the top. And it's a much better way to judge popularity, which I hate that word, of certain music, because who buys records?
No one.
That's my point. Is like who's like, oh, it sold 10,000 copies this week. It's like, what does that mean anymore?
Yeah,
and I know it's not fair to the artist because when you stream stuff and you have accounts like Spotify, like I do, that are getting pennies on the dollar. But we'll get to some stuff on Chance the Rapper too. So first things first, which is a nod to one of J. Cole's songs, but still. J. Cole's NBA graphic number one. In one of his songs in the most recent album, 4 Years Only, he said, I know nobody meant to live forever anyway, and so I hustle like my peoples. You can do the math there. In Virginia A, they tell and hit is so dope. Rapper, they go to the NBA in that order. And he makes a lot of NBA references, but he's also politically calling out the idea of stereotypes. That if you're black and you grow up, you either sell drugs or you make it to the NBA.
His lyrics are phenomenal, by the way. And here's a side note. In sociology in my class, my professor used to quote J. Cole lyrics.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Really cool.
It was a she. She was really good. And because the guy, in his own way, like he is the truth of how powerful lyrics can be. Like there's many like him. I'm not going to rag on any rappers. I'm not going to start a feud.
We could go rag on Lil Yachty, but that's okay.
Oh, we can't. Like everyone seems to be doing that. But there's certain rappers out there that they just like captivate anything that comes out of their mouth. It's almost like you're being taught. It's like you're in class and you're listening. Like Kendrick Lamar, very similar. Oh, yeah. And the one thing that he mentions here is like he doesn't overstate anything. He's not malice in the way he's saying it, but he's just so to the point. He's like, you either sell dope, you rap, or you go to the NBA. And these are stereotypes that are reiterated to young kids to the point where like, how frightening is that that's like your path laid out for you? Like, because people will say that to you. Look at these guys. They made it off the street. They're in the NBA. You got to get to that if you want to get off the street. No, that's not the way it goes. Like, that's the way a lot of people in the United States will want them to assume because it makes it even more difficult to get to that.
Bubble.
Yeah, of course. And when you're grouped in amongst people, I'm not going to get into thorough conversations, but in sociology, this was linked with segregation. So it's like when you're linked in amongst the same race and the same sort of stereotypes are just driven into that race. All you hear is that same sort of perspective.
Like groupthink, or what's the word? It's not necessarily just groupthink. It's like if you live in a bubble. Like if I'm being honest, I grew up in a pretty much middle class white suburbia.
Yeah.
However, you can culture yourself by traveling, go other places,
reading,
reading many different ways. And I want to get into some more though because this isn't the first time J. Cole's made references to the NBA. He's done it in almost every album he's ever dropped, all the way back to the Cole World album, one of his first. This is the second of the lyrics. But you'll never play me like LeBron versus Jordan. 20 years, wonder who they're gonna say was more important. And I think if I'm reading, if I know that song correctly, it's a lot to do with LeBron possibly is going to be more important to the game than Michael Jordan was for various reasons. But it just goes to show because, for one, J. Cole is prominent within the NBA community. For one, he was awesome in the NBA All-Star game. Here's a dunk.
Playing one-on-one, yes.
Any type of movement, it becomes a problem.
Movement, it's over with.
Oh, you can shoot.
Justin Bieber can kind of shoot. And then also he was recently at the NC State game. He's from North Carolina. I think he still lives in North Carolina with Wale. Don't worry, Ja'Cory. Getting it right this time. He's laughing on the inside.
Did you call him Will?
Maybe. Was reading the quote out of context. Happens. And I think I also spelt it wrong.
I called Bill Nye Bill NYE once.
New Year's Eve? Bill New Year's Eve?
Bill
NYE, the science.
Bill NYE on bow ties and New Year's Eve. Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was a tough moment. It was on the main show as well, so that's great.
And to round out the other elements we have to do with rap and the NBA, by the way, I'm fully self-aware that this is two white people talking about rap, but by the way, we're allowed to talk about rap. It's a huge influence on my life. So SoundCloud rapper is something that they were chanting at Damian Lillard, who is a SoundCloud rapper. And by the way, I think this is in good fun. If they meant this as a diss, educate yourself, Milwaukee Bucks fans, because Chance the Rapper is one of the best in rap right now, and he's fully independent, and he did it almost entirely through being a
SoundCloud rapper.
roll tape. So you can hear in the background, it's like, first of all,
like 4 people.
Damian Lillard's not a bad rapper,
I
and
think
he's
he's-
serious about it.
I like the one that they use on when they were promoting the NBA, when they were using his
Oh, yeah,
track
it was
to
a
start
track
with.
too.
That was interesting. I liked it. It's good. I didn't have any other points. That
Oh, I
was my
wasn't sure.
critique.
I
I like
wasn't
that
sure.
one song I heard when they promoted the NBA. But yeah, it's like, for instance, the same thing is like if you were to start singing the Justin Bieber YouTube singer or something like that. Like there's a lot of people that have came through and made it from that jump across. Like using it as an insult, it's not exactly an insult. Like I get it.
No, that's why
Damian Lillard's a basketball player first.
That's why I
and then
thought
a
it was.
rapper
That's
second,
what I
but-
thought it was so interesting about it is like SoundCloud is to music as what YouTube is to commentary, vlogging, and creative
But
videos.
YouTube was for music, like SoundCloud is for music. They're the same thing. Like people would have used YouTube to start
Yeah,
with.
that's definitely true too. SoundCloud also for podcasts, and it's just a platform. YouTube is a platform, and it's also a community, same as SoundCloud. And what's really cool, at least I've always found about SoundCloud, is you can see, like a lot of the YouTube commenters like about YouTube, is they have a place to talk underneath the videos. The same goes for SoundCloud. You can make comments on certain points of a certain song if you like that beat, if you like where the beat drops there, if you like those lyrics, if you like the message, if you don't like it, and just more of a social media aspect to it. But the NBA and rap and hip hop have crossed over for years. It's nothing new. It's been a part of the NBA's culture in great ways for a long time.
So where do you put it? Favorite album of the year?
The problem, I've listened to it almost nonstop today, and I'm going to listen to it nonstop through the weekend, and I don't want to make any rush decision into it. There's just 3 songs specifically: Immortal, the song self-titled For Your Eyes Only, which is the last song on the album, and Changes, I think, are just unbelievably good songs. Well, J. Cole said in a couple interviews that the song She's Mine Part 1 and She's Mine Part 2 are the 2 most important songs he's ever written. So I respect those, obviously, for the fact that I'm curious why he thinks those are the most important
But
songs.
it's a tough.
It's dark.
A tough
It's
year.
dark.
It's a tough year in terms of in just solely music-based competition.
But we ended great.
But how many? No, I mean tough because there's been a lot of great albums this year.
yeah.
Were Women's Tribe's album released?
Tribe was not that long. It was November. It was
So when you're competing with
ago.
things like that,
Chance had
it's
another
tough.
mixtape.
Chance had one.
Bruno Mars, which Corey's been
Kanye
on
West, I
all
believe, was at the
day.
start of the year.
Kanye had a couple of different tracks.
Was
and
he
then-
not? Did his new album not come at the start of the year?
Oh, probably. Yeah, it was.
did. I mean, I thought it was great,
Shit,
but
yeah.
my
There's
thoughts.
just been a lot of good music to end 2016, which is a really nice way to end 2016 after so many legendary musicians died. But I know we're breaking away from the sports aspect, but we listen to music. Sports people listen to music. Everyone should listen to music, except for, believe it or not, John Idarola.
I know, I don't get it. What? I don't know. What do you work out to? What do you go to sleep to? What do you put on in the car? Do you sing Christmas music? I don't understand it. Tweet him and ask him. At Jaidarola.
Comment below, like, favorite, subscribe. What do you think about J. Cole's new album and the NBA music crossover?